Hey guys, Sam here. I wanted to make you a video real quick on the USPSA setup that I use, just to try to help people. Because when I first started, I really thought it was going to be pretty expensive to get into, and it doesn't have to be. So I thought that maybe I could show at least what I'm using, and you could take that list and tweak it to your wants and needs, your budget, whatever the case may be, because you can do it pretty inexpensively. But before we get started, let's do our daily Bible verse, which today is Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9. And it says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast." I think everyone needs a little more of the good book in their life, myself included. All right, so everything that I'm about to show you, I will link in the description so you can go find it. I actually just checked everything. It's all still there. The prices will be updated. So first things first is a belt. This is a Kradex belt. Kradex is the name of the company. It's a two-piece Velcro belt. I don't use the inner belt. That's a personal preference kind of thing. I don't like it. It just kind of irritates me, so I took it off and I use this. It's a pretty sturdy belt. I mean, it's definitely thick and tough. The Velcro, it's okay. I mean, I got this off Amazon, so it's kind of what you would expect, and nothing. If you had to wear this every day, I've had this for 6 months. If I had to wear it every day, it wouldn't have made it this long. But I wore it on matches. Sorry, I sound a little nasally and out of breath. I'm fighting a sinus infection. Anyway. The belt was a solid purchase. I would actually still be using this belt if it was not for the fact that I have a ratcheting EDC belt, and I use that just because it's a little more comfortable and it's a little sturdier than this Velcro. I've never had an issue with the Velcro coming undone. I just don't like the possibility, honestly. And the EDC belt's better to wear in ball shorts, which is what I like to shoot in. I like to be as comfortable as possible. But definitely I recommend that belt for sure. The second thing is these little mag carriers. These also are made by the same company, and you can find them on Amazon. These are actually a lot cheaper than I originally thought they were. When I was trying to think how expensive things were for this video, these were actually cheaper than I thought. A 4-pack, I think it's $40. If you buy them individually though, they're like 14, I think. But you're going to want, in my opinion, at least 3. I like being able to carry 3 extra magazines. Plus, you're going to start unloaded more often than not. So you're going to need a load mag and then, at least 2 more reload mags. I run these, and I run a magnet, which I was going to put it on the list, but the only reason I didn't was because it's definitely not a necessity. It's just like I wanted it, so I bought it. But they come with these little spacers. They can accommodate single stack or double stack magazines. Mine are obviously set up for double stack. The only gripe that I have with them is that so these are the Smith & Wesson mags out of my Match Smith that I use, and they fit pretty good. But if you don't tighten them up, they kind of, I don't know what it is about this magazine. It just flops around. Even as tight as you can get it, it still flops around a little bit, which they don't fall out, but you feel them when you're running. It's kind of annoying, but that's just me nitpicking, if we're being completely honest. Glock mags fit super snug in these though. But I definitely suggest these if you're new and you're not sure. That's the big thing, right? Like, you could spend $1,000 or you can spend $200. What if you don't like it and you're $1,000 deep? Good luck selling that stuff and getting your money back. You'll get some of it, you won't get all of it. This is the holster and hanger setup. I got so the belt and the mag carriers came from Amazon. The next 2 things came from I guess specialty companies. So this came from Ben Stoker Pro Shop. This hanger did, and the hanger was $50, and it was one of the cheapest aluminum ones that had the feature set that I wanted and without breaking the bank. I mean, $50 is not bad in my opinion. There's definitely some cheaper ones. But I think when it comes to like mag carriers and belts, it's it's pretty simple. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, I think you get what you pay for. And this hanger works great. They had another option on there that was significantly more expensive. It was almost twice as expensive, and the only difference was you had more height that you could adjust. So on this one, you really only have 3 levels of adjustment, and honestly that's probably what it's not much. And it had more, and then it could rotate a little further, and I didn't really care about that because I pretty much go straight up. It looks pitched forward, but when the pistol sits in it, it's pretty flat. The holster ironically enough was the most expensive thing. And it's a pretty generic holster, but the match gun, don't let this deter you on holsters, because the match gun that I use uses a specific holster. And I'll get to that pistol in a minute. This was $85. Now, if you're running other Smiths or Glock or whatever, insert any other handgun in there, they're 9 times out of 10 going to be significantly cheaper. The only gripe that I have with this holster is I wish it was a little tighter. So when the pistol sits in here, it has decent retention, but I wish it was just a little bit more, because I have felt it on some stages where you start holstered unloaded and you have to go to the box. A lot of times I won't draw until I get close. And when I'm running, I can feel it bouncing around a little bit. I mean, it doesn't bounce out. It's nothing dramatic like that, but I do notice it. And that's really the only thing I can say about this holster. But other than that, the holster's freaking awesome. It's one of the few holsters that I purchased, and I haven't had screws back out on me without Loctiting, which is pretty sweet. So I appreciate that. The last thing that I use for matches is this range bag. You don't need it. I use it because it was probably my 2nd or 3rd match in. I had an optic come loose, and I didn't notice it at first. And then, by the time I noticed it, it didn't really matter anyway, because I didn't have the tools to fix it, because I didn't have a range bag. I literally just carried my little ammo can, and that was all it took. So I bought this from Walmart. It was just under $50. I use it, honestly, the only reason I have is just, like I said, to carry my tools, my torque wrench and stuff. It does have these mag pouches, which if you have magazines like these, not necessarily these specific magazines, but long mags like this, when you fill these little, can't get it in there, when you fill these up, it won't zip close. They're too tall. But that's really the only, that's just me being petty, because I just throw in the bag. It's not gonna hurt them. I'm dumping them in gravel and dirt and kicking them and stomping on them when I'm running all over the stage and stuff like that. And if that doesn't tear them up, certainly being in the bag with each other is not gonna hurt them either. I just wanted to make that real quick for you guys, because I know that it can be a little, I don't want to say intimidating, that's not the word I want to use, but it's easy to get into the mindset that it's going to be very expensive, which obviously it's not cheap, because you got to buy the pistol too. But you can carry, my advice to somebody who's new to this, don't buy a competition specific pistol. Just run carry optics or production or literally anything. Just run any gun. In the event you don't like it, so like this is the competition pistol that I use. It's a Smith & Wesson Spec V, Spec 5, whatever. It's friggin' awesome. I love this gun. Steel frame, PVD coated fluted barrel. All these blue parts are supposedly all unique to the gun in the way they do the color scheme. I can't vouch for that. The only thing I do know is that one of my buddies, he has one of these, and it is a little different, but that's not really that big of a deal, let's be honest. It does have lightning cuts up front. It's got a single port Strike Industries compensator, which I've seen mixed opinions on. I personally like it. I think it does really well. This is a super flat shooting gun. steel frame, suppressor height sights, night sights as well, which is always really nice. The only thing I don't like about this gun, I shouldn't say don't like, the only gripe I have is this trigger. This gun is clear. They're always clear. And so the brake is pretty good. It's probably about 3.5 pounds, just guessing. And the reset's pretty tactile. It doesn't sound very good, but you definitely feel it. But this is what I don't like. There's a lot of travel there, and I wish that wasn't there. Maybe it's like that for a reason. I don't know. I'm not Smith & Wesson, but I do know that I wish that the travel was a lot less. The Apex trigger solved that problem. But this is a pretty pricey pistol. This gun is $16.99, and to me, if I'm paying, you know, after taxes and everything, looking at almost $2,000. Like, you probably have a better trigger than that, but it's not terrible. This is not great. Or that part's not great. And this is why I say don't go out here and just buy you a gun specific for these matches. Because let's say you ended up not liking it for whatever reason, right? And you bought this gun. You just bought a $1,700 paperweight because this gun is too heavy for 99% of people to carry. I'm not a big guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a little bit larger than average. I'm 6'2", 220, and this gun is entirely too heavy for me to reasonably carry. Could I do it? Sure. Am I going to hate it? Absolutely. Am I going to recommend it? Absolutely not. Even if you were to take the magwell off and the compensator, like it's still a beefy boy. It helps, you know, the shootability, certainly, but it's definitely not carry friendly. But overall, it's a fantastic gun for that application, or even if it was just like a range toy, right? Just that's all it's really good for, in my opinion. Just get the polymer frame for carry, way better, and you'll like yourself a lot better when you do that too. And one thing I forgot to mention was the optic that I'm using on these. I've become a gigantic fan of these. I was a big time SRO fanboy. I like this optic better. This is the Holosun 507 competition. I like it better because it's half the cost. This is a green dot. I prefer green. And the window is gigantic. I don't know if it's actually bigger than the SRO or not, but it certainly feels that way. But the price point's what really got me. I mean, is it as tough and durable as a Trigicon? No. But if this thing is only ever getting used at matches, like I'll baby it otherwise. So I mean, it's gonna be fine. It's not gonna hurt anything. Here's another one. Here's something else I was gonna show. I have a lot of people ask me, you know, my personal life, and in some threads and things like what my home defense gun is, right? Because I'm anti-shotgun for home defense, specifically 12 gauge shotgun. I think it is a horrible home defense gun, in my personal opinion. They are very cumbersome. They're very, very loud. They over-penetrate. They're not user-friendly for somebody who's not very well versed in shooting. You certainly can be very proficient with a shotgun. It's going to take a lot more time than it will for a lot of other firearms, and mainly because they kick the piss out of you. This is a CMMG Mark III that I built out of parts. 300 blackout, 10.5 inch barrel. This is an Odin Olight. I think it's an Odin. I can't remember. I believe it's an Odin. 1,000 lumen output. The only gripe I have with it is it's a rechargeable battery. I'm not a huge fan of those. However, I bought this off Facebook Marketplace for like 60 bucks. Guy was getting rid of it. So you can't beat that. It's got a Dead Air Sandman S suppressor on it with their, if I can get it busted loose here. Yeah, there you go. So part of the reason I went with the Dead Air is because of the brakes. The brake is pretty awesome, and it definitely is not awesome for the shooter as far as the sound, because it's like rattles your eardrums, but it is a 10.5 inch barrel, so that's kind of to be expected. So this was $100, I think. Maybe it was just shy of 100. I might be wrong. It might be shy of 100, but everybody else, you know, they were like, there was a a Hux Works I was looking at, and the adapter was like $200, and you couldn't even get it right now anyways on back order. So that was part of the reason I went with it. But also, this suppressor had really good reviews, and I would always suggest somebody buy a suppressor. They're freaking sweet, and the tax stamp is about to go to $0, so you can't go wrong there. And I got mine back in 2 days. And it seems to be pretty common nowadays that they're coming back really quickly. If you use I use the kiosk, but if you use like e-forms and stuff, it seems to be a little faster. Paper sucks, don't do it. I've got a hand stop on here. I've got sling mounts up here. I just took the sling off for the video because it was annoying. I've got a Vortex Crossfire red dot. It's, you know, honestly, I wouldn't even be against taking the optic off because this is a home defense gun. You might get 35, 40 feet. You don't need it. You're not even gonna probably not even be pulling up, let's be honest. But it's on there and it's zeroed and it's really accurate, so I'll leave it. And it's got an SPA 3 brace. Can't stand them. They suck balls. Thanks ATF. I thought about getting an SPA 4. We'll see. I got a 45-degree safety. Extended bolt release. This has a 2-stage trigger, and I can't remember who it was from. And you know, just a classic MOE hand grip. Can't go wrong there. It did have a Radian Raptor charging handle, but I rated this thing for a couple parts and put it on another gun because this gun was I'd say in the neighborhood of the way without the suppressor, probably about $1,500. I might be wrong. I've had this thing for like 8 years, so I can't remember what's on it. The can was definitely a huge chunk of the cost of this whole setup. This dead air was $700, so it's kind of pricey, but I definitely suggest this can. Biggest reason, the adapters are cheap in comparison to some of the other ones. And 300 Blackout, in my opinion, is probably one of the best home defense calibers because it's big, fat, and slow. It thumps pretty hard for what it is. Over penetration's not as bad as some other calibers. It's still easy to shoot. It definitely has more recoil than a 5.56. So you're not as effectively going to shoot this. But if we're inside in a really close environment, it's not going to be enough to really matter. And I definitely suggest a suppressor for home defense, just because at 3 o'clock in the morning somebody boots your door and you're going downstairs, it's dark, you're already struggling with limited visibility. However, you do know the layout of your home, so you have that going for you. But I don't know if anybody's ever fired a gun, or if any of you guys have ever fired a gun in an enclosed space, but it rattles your eardrums. Even just 22, it's deafening. So 300 Blackout on a short barrel, be horrible. That's why I suggest a suppressor. It's literally the only reason I have it, because other than that, I wouldn't have it. They don't really serve too much of a purpose to me. Other than that, I'm trying to save my hearing, keep my bearing in the event I have to use it. But that's the home defense setup, and I hope that this USPSA thing, this whole list, helps you guys out. I know that if I would have done my homework and looked it up, it would have helped me a lot. But get out there, man. Get after it. It's fun. You're gonna suck at first. It's okay. I'm a good shot, but you get out there. The first time I went, I was pretty low on the list. You got to figure out a lot of things that you don't think of when you're registering for it, and you're like, oh, I'd like to do this, you know, it doesn't look that hard. It's a lot harder than it looks, but it's a lot more fun than it looks as well. And you'll definitely, when you start picking up the pace and start moving quickly, you'll definitely find where your deficiencies are, because they will shine. That's, to me, one of the biggest things that I've enjoyed about this is figuring out what I'm doing wrong. And it's way easier to find, because anybody can stand at 20 yards and shoot still, you know, not running. There's no time constraint. Nobody's watching you. Anybody can do that all day long. Put 50 dudes behind you and they're all watching you. You feel like they're judging you, which they're not, but you definitely feel like they are. And you know that you've got to beat this time. You know, there's all these, I shouldn't say all these rules. There's really only one rule, and that's don't flag anybody. But, you know, you got all this other stuff going on. It's really not a big deal. And I promise there's some of the coolest guys you'll ever meet, and everybody's willing to help you out. So if you're on the fence about it, go do it. It's a blast, man. It's so much fun. And once you get the initial investment of the gun, that's 90% of the cost right there. You can wear, a buddy of mine, he wears just his regular old leather belt that he bought from Walmart. That's what he uses. And he bought just a little old mag carrier, a cheap one. And he runs he does have a pretty nice Safariland holster. He does have that. And he just wears regular old blue jeans. I mean, bare bones, and it works, and he does fairly well. So don't get worried, you know, you can do it cheap. Get out there, have fun, man. The more people do it, the better it's gonna get, and you know, draw more eyes to it, generates more money for it, bigger matches, cooler prizes. Like, come out there and have fun, man. It's awesome. Thank you guys for watching. If you would leave a like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. I'd appreciate it. We broke 1,000 in like 23 hours. That's friggin' awesome. Thank you guys so much. If there's anything you would like to know about any of this equipment or any other questions, just leave a comment. I'll answer it. And I hope you guys have a blessed day.